So we're going to start our second half with Daniel Bedeau, who is a Watford under-23s academy analyst, and he will be presenting on analysis and information overload. Daniel, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me right there? I'm Daniel. I oversee the analysis from under-9s to under-23s at Watford Football Club. So I'm basically going to talk to you about the usage of analysis and overload. So at Watford, well, in most clubs, we use many different uses of software. We've got Sports Code, which we use to clip in and code in games. We've got Instat for data, for matches, or for each individual player and team. We also have Huddle, which is a video sharing tool, which we use for the players access to see their games and the clips from each game they have. And also we use Scout as an education tool for getting professional clips to sharing with the players to show them how professional teams are doing in certain aspects of the game. For example, how Dan from Fulham showed Oxford Chamberlain doing the forward runs and how Spurs were playing the 4-3-3. So, debriefing in football in a nutshell, to be most effective, it has to be done the best time and place. So coaches tend to say straight after the game, we'll have analysis feedback of the game just played to reflect on the team's performance, so the targets. If each player has their own individual targets, they have team targets, they have match day targets, they have seasonal targets, and they have GPS data targets if they're hitting the high speed, how many high speed runs a game, and also if they're covering a certain amount of distance per game. In the feedback, you have to be open to exchanging. So the players will have a say, the coaches will have a say, and they will come to a conclusion for their technical, tactical, physical elements of the game, if they are improving as a player, if they're failing, or if their areas need to improve. This is all done through the goals are set, as well as continuously monitored 6 weeks, 4 weeks, every week, all the time, you could say. They do say they have like monthly, weekly targets, but to be fair, it's every day. But there is a big but with overload of information to the players. I personally believe the time and all the data we're giving to the players, is it relevant? Are they all necessary for the development, and do they all take it in? Because some players do not have the mental capacity to absorb what you're telling them. With some players, you could just give them 1 or 2 things, and that could mean the world to them, and they could go out and be a better player. Some players, they'll take in, and they go onto the pitch, and they freeze, they overthink, and their performances. Also, with the players, all the information they're taking, are they actually understanding their strengths and weaknesses? Are they actually understanding what they've got to do, and are they able to reflect on what they're actually doing? Because all the information they're taking in, they're processing, but they can't process, as I just briefly said. Once again, is the data relevant to the thing? So for the players, I think for the information needed and the feedback, it should make it more relevant for them instead of giving all the information needed. The length of the feedback should be short and sweet and not too long, because more and more they take in, they're going to get bored, they're going to cause a mental fatigue, which is going to hinder their performance. And once again, not all the athletes have the capabilities to process information given. Just keep it short and sweet, and they'll be able to take it on and understand. That's just my personal belief on the information, and a lot of coaches giving too much information and overloading and hindering players' performances over time. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. That first slide just shows you how much resource is now put into performance analysis and the choice that players and coaching and analysis staff have in terms of how they access information. I thought it's a really interesting point you also made, Daniel, around how do we measure the impact and learning that's taking place through the data that we give our players, and I think that will be an ongoing question that we will continue to have to answer as professionals.